moving on to a topic that I'm a little bit dreading, but I watched one of my top 100, top 100 favorite films. I watched Remember the Titans recently, and that was in my top 100. I believe it was number 92 in my top 100 list, and I love this film. And I watched it again a couple days ago just because I felt like I just really wanted to, given all this shit that's been happening in our country with the whole Minneapolis fiasco and all that. People are being really upset and riots happening, and I thought it was a really relevant film to watch, especially at a time like this, and just how I just remembered, it just all brings back like how good this film is. Remember the Titans is just so good, and it's really relevant to the time right now, and judging people based off the content of their character rather than the color of their skin, which is just so fucking mind-boggling that we're still dealing with the same fucking issues that have plagued humanity since the beginning of time, almost. But it's really irritating. I mean, I'm sure there's more relevant films to issues that we're dealing with now. Fruitvale Station comes to mind, which is a really great film that I highly recommend, but it's pretty depressing, but for a good reason. But this film, it chooses that more uplifting type of feel to it, but also deals with this, it doesn't deal with police brutality like Fruitvale Station does, but it deals with, race relations and just, being accepting and tolerant of one another. And I just don't, it's just so, it just sickens me that we still deal with these racial issues in 2020. Like, what happened in Minneapolis with George Floyd and that officer is unfucking acceptable. When you watch the video, it's just, oh god, man, truly unacceptable. And I was never like a huge like Black Lives Matter supporter, but now after seeing that, I'm like, you know what? I understand, and I'm kind of a supporter now. People are mad about these riots, but like, how would you feel if George Floyd was, your father or someone you cared about, like a brother or a good friend or a significant other? Like, how would you feel? You'd probably want to burn some shit down as well. I mean, people are getting mad about the destruction of public property and all that stuff. Like, I understand, yes, looting is really bad. If you're going in there to capitalize off of this situation, you're a piece of shit, and you should be held accountable for that. But a lot of these people who are, destroying public property, like, here's the thing. When you steal something, the government and the police force comes in and, enacts justice on that. Rightfully so. But the police force and the establishment are stealing something from you, which is not possibly, it is the most valuable thing you own, which is your own life. So that's the way they feel. So who gives a fuck about some monument or some target? Like, I understand where they're coming from. Now, if you're burning down a small business owner's place, then yeah, that's kind of shitty and that's kind of ruining someone's livelihood. So I understand, there's usually a middle ground to be found here, and we all need to realize that all cops aren't racist pigs. I mean, one of my good friends is a police officer, and he exemplifies what integrity means. So there's good people who are police officers out there, and there just needs to be more of them, and less of these pieces of shit who can't control their fucking themselves. Like, there's no reason to be, again, it really makes me angry, the whole situation, and it just makes me kind of sick when you watch that video and you watch these people who are assassinating George Floyd's character after he's dead. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are we doing here, guys? But that's pretty much what I want to say. And just, watch Remember the Titans. It gives you hope, even though it was made back in 2000. That's 20 years ago, and we're still dealing with that shit today, 20 years later. And we're still dealing with the same shit, like, from, a century ago. They had riots about this shit a century ago, it seemed like. It seems like history keeps repeating itself, and it's just, I don't know. I don't know exactly what the solution is. I don't claim to be an expert on shit like this and police reform and racial relations. I don't know. I'm a white dude, and we have certain privileges that African Americans don't, and I understand that now, especially with dealing with police officers, clearly. Hello, thanks for watching that clip of my episode of Nerd Out Sanctuary. I appreciate you watching. If you don't know, this is a video podcast about, movies, TV, video games, other types of entertainment, comic books, novels, maybe occasionally. I don't know, I don't really read that much, but when I do, I want to talk about it. So yeah, just know that there's a lot more of these, and I appreciate you if you give me a like and subscribe and watch more. If you're just if you're watching here on YouTube, know that this is also a podcast, an audio podcast. I'm on Spotify, iTunes, and Google Play, so you can download my podcast episodes, listen to them while you're driving in the car, taking a shit, making dinner, doing your laundry, or whatever, when you're at work, when you're supposed to be working, but you're just kind of like, mindless, doing some mindless tasks while listening to my podcast. It's the shit. Hopefully you guys, get good recommendations out of me, and hope you guys keep enjoying my show. So yeah, thanks. And bye.